Okay. We're going to get started in talking about this subject and the importance of it. We can see what the Bible actually says, and I think it's enlightening as we look at benevolence. One of the concerns that I have had in working with benevolence through the years, and as a preacher, often we're the ones saddled with that, and it's frustrating in feeling like oftentimes we're throwing money away. We're not actually helping someone. We may help someone for 30 days, and then the next month they're right back in the same situation. So really we just prolong the agony. One of the things that we want to look at, and Kyle has been very active, and Kyle is very active in personal work, and what he's doing is putting these together as I think the New Testament plainly teaches. And we see the importance. We don't have sound back here. Let me move up here. What we see is the importance, the need of finding the best way to be good stewards of God's money. And Kyle is going to tell us a little bit about some of the things they're doing at Madison, some of the things that he may be familiar with that others are doing. And then we want to tie this in with how we are able to best use our resources here. Congregations may be different sizes, different talents, but hopefully we can put together ideas that are practical for us in Shelby, in Chilton County. And so I hope that you will put in. We will take questions. I'm going to ask Kyle if a question is asked for him to repeat that question. The reason we're using microphone especially, we've already had a request from Hoover for a copy of the CD from Kyle's lesson today and what we're doing. Others are also asking the same questions we are, and they're looking. So if you have a question, we will have an opportunity before Kyle finishes. If you'd like to ask something, that'll be permissible as he tells us. Okay, go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, feel free to make any comments or add what you want to add. This is just a discussion time, and so I'm going to begin, and you tell me your thoughts, and you may have a better idea, and I will write it down and put it to good use. When you is everybody here a member of the Lord's church? Let me ask. Okay, are we all? Because we're going to discuss some things that's going to be very specific to the Lord's church. And if you're not a member of the Lord's church, we're going to just be aware that some of the things we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about us, our warts and everything. Okay. So as we go through this, what has been? Let me ask you, what has been your thoughts or the way things that you have seen evangelism being administered in churches? And let me see if your history or understanding is the same as mine. Any thoughts? What has been just an overall general view of a person's work with evangelism or a church work with evangelism? Okay. Get a preacher to do it for you. All right. You come, we're here. They bring you a situation, and then what happens? You react. And in some cases, some of the times the reaction is, hey, we're equipped, we can take care of your needs. But on some other levels, especially nowadays, we are running into situations that aren't your typical type of situations. And a lot of times when we say, oh, the church is here to help, we make that broad blanket statement, and when the person comes in response to that help, it's, whew, We didn't bargain for that type of situation. And the way that the church has, the historically structure of a benevolent program does not necessarily meet the evangelistic thrust of it. I'll give you an example. One church, I studied their efforts in benevolence. And I found that in those efforts, they had this categorical list. And it was a program, a punch list. And if you didn't meet, we're talking about helping non-members now, okay? If you didn't meet this punch list, then the church could say, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And that was it. You know, because it didn't fit into the church box of help or their program, they didn't know what to do with it. But then you have the preacher that stands before that family, and his interest is in their soul. And yet he knows that they do have a genuine interest in the gospel. And he sees that they have a need that doesn't fit the plan in place. What does the preacher do? Does he say, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you with paying your power bill or whatever it may be, but I still want to study the gospel with you as they turn the lights out that evening? What do you do? In my experiences, there has been a total, not a total separation, but a great separation, a great gulf between the evangelistic thrust and a benevolent type of work. And I don't know why it has developed this way, but it's just developed. I'm not just speaking in our brotherhood, but in denominational churches as well. Because there's the benevolent work where we think that it is set up to make us feel good and to ease our guilt about helping the poor. Am I close? Am I close? I mean, it makes us feel good to do things like prepare these boxes. It makes us feel good to go out and clean up someone's yard. It makes us feel good to help someone with a sack of groceries. And yet, what they desperately need, the church is not really responding to. And so there's a gulf between those two. Give you at Madison, a little program that they have had for the past 8 years has been a Thanksgiving Project Thanks, is what they call it. And what they do is they have this little piece of paper, and they write they write a list of items that you can buy at the grocery store, and it'll cost less than $20 to $25 for all those items on the list. They pass them out to their members. And then the members go to the grocery stores and they buy these sacks. They bring it to the building, and through the school counselors, they obtain names and addresses of needy families from the schools.